Welcome to In the Know. We are live from the Pelicans. Well, we're not at the Pelicans, but right after the Pelicans' first preseason game, the Pelicans took down the Magic. Come check in with us, see what we got to say.
The New Orleans Pelicans select Zion Williamson.
And Holiday, the dribble penetration. So tough going to the goal.
Hello, I am Shamit, joined by Jeremy Mason. Unfortunately, couldn't make it, but Jeremy and I were both at the game that took place at noon 30. If you didn't know there was a game taking place, there was a game today. Jeremy, how you doing? How was your game experience, man? What's up?
I was shocked. There was a few thousand people in the arena. It shocked me. I thought it was gonna be me, my son, my wife, and people we called up. But there were a lot of people there, and as you see, I spruced up the place. We won.
Hey, look. Getting the decorations, getting the swag going. I love it. I'm sure we're gonna add to that collection as our time doing this podcast goes on. So, right off the gate, the Pelicans, before the game even started, there was a bit of news. We kind of touched on it the last podcast. Brandon Ingram was not playing, and it was framed in a pretty interesting manner where it was framed that it's not related to any kind of injury or anything else. And then later, I think there was some kind of like clarifying thing where it was like, okay, they decided to give him rest or a day off.
Rest for rehabbing, as they came together for a rest with rehab to not play today's game. That's what they tried to explain.
Yes, Jeremy, are you buying that? I mean that in the capacity of like, do you think this is Brandon deciding he doesn't want to play today and they're all working together to give him cover for that? Or do you think they're like, this is something he actually needs?
A little column A, a little column B. I don't think he decided today. I think he decided probably a couple days ago because they took the screenshot of the five guys who started the night before. So again, I said it. I put it on Twitter. I'm disappointed because I want these guys to play as much as possible, but I'm going to leave it there because I want to talk about the good things that happened today.
Good things that happened today. The Pelicans took down the Orlando Magic 106-104, nail biter of an ending, which I'm sure we'll get to.
Yes, we're
well, that
breaking
was
down
something.
every play in the fourth quarter because I know that's why you guys came to us. You want us to break down blow by blow on the fourth.
That's what's going to happen. So, the starters were Dejounte Murray, CJ McCollum, Herb Jones, Zion Williamson, and Daniel Tice. And the Magic starting group was going to be their traditional starting group that they were going to see in this season, which is Jalen Suggs, KCP, Franz, Paulo, and Wendell Carter. The game started off with a lot of Zion.
A lot of Zion.
A whole lot of Zion.
Rebound. Well, as everyone pointed out on Twitter, and a lot of rebounds to start the game from Zion, and he initiated action. And if they scored, they inbounded. Guess who? It was Zion. It was a lot of Zion in the middle of the court to start the game.
Yes, let's chat about it. Right. I think one concern we had going into this pregame was, is Zion going to get opportunity to make plays off the dribble? Right. They brought in the point guard. They brought in Dejounte. Is Zion going to be more of an off-ball player? Is he going to be an on-ball player? And it was abundantly clear in this game that the plan was, we're going to get it to Zion. And then everything flows from there. Now, obviously, there were multiple possessions where it's Dejounte bringing the ball down the court, getting, the ball to Zion on the move. And then it's Zion flowing into a pick and roll or flowing into just a dribble drive into the paint, collapse in the defense. What were your main takeaways on just how Zion looked, how he was used, his activity, all the above?
You keep saying and you keep telling yourself he's a willing passer. You don't understand how he knows every angle on the court, not just to score, but to get wide open jump shots for his teammates. If you're gonna have this, if you're gonna have the center help off of Herb, well, he's gonna fire him. If you're gonna try to collapse on from the nail, we got CJ and Dejounte there, And he is going to find them every single time. And if you think your defender is good enough to defend him one-on-one, they're not. Whoever your best, I think Jonathan Isaac is the best pound-for-pound defender in the league, and he had his way with him. So, yeah, he was just phenomenal. And we're just talking about the offensive end because defensively, he also was active.
Well, so it started off with Zion finding Herb early, and Herb got a couple of looks from deep, all foot on the line. Come on, Herb, foot on the line.
I'm counting to three.
Which was
Counting to three.
right, which is kind of to be expected. Like teams are going to continue to dare Herb Jones to shoot, and I'm glad Herb took those shots with confidence
Yes.
and cashed in on him. Right,
Yes.
that was fun to see. But Zion, yeah, it was honestly a mix and match of things, right? It was getting to the paint, spraying out to the corner three, getting to the paint. Oh, there's Daniel Tice on a cut, right? Let's get him going. Dejounte actually had I'm changing it to Dejounte just a little bit,
Go
but
ahead.
not really. It's still about Zion. Dejounte, they had a pick and roll. Zion top of the key sets the screen, and he doesn't escape the screen very quickly. He waits for a second, and when he waits, it opens up that pocket pass.
Yep.
And Dejounte hits him on the pocket pass. Zion's on the move. Good luck.
It's almost the same way that I envisioned it when I watched him do it with Clint Capella. It was the exact sat patience and perfect timing, and he hit him on the roll. And good luck, as you say.
So I asked Zion about that. I asked Zion a couple of things in the post game presser, and one of the things I asked him about was screening actions. And firstly, I'd asked him about uh, one thing Willie Green had mentioned was they're now playing around more with using the big man as a screener for Z. Willie had said last year they were using a lot of smalls, and what that would do is allow opponent bigs to kind of sit in the paint and track Zion on his way to the rim. Now what they're doing is they're bringing the big man out to set that screen. Now you got to defend, right? Either got to switch it, you got to be in drop, you got to do something, but you're involving that help that the rim protector in the action.
Yes.
And the smalls can space, or their smaller guards can be the help defender, which are generally worse than
roadkill.
So I asked Zion what he thought about that, and he had a very, very interesting quote. Because I asked him about that. I asked him about the small screen because I was like, well, the JJ stuff did work. Can you envision yourself doing that with CJ and stuff? And he's like, yeah, look, like CJ, there's Hawk, there's Matt Ryan, there's Trey. Like we're gonna get into that. It's gonna take some time to build that chemistry, but we'll do that. But he said the way our offense was run last year, we didn't have as many options. And I thought that was very interesting. He's like, the way their offense is run this year, they have options on the floor. And I took that to mean is like you have your primary look, but then if the primary blows up, what's the secondary? What do you flow into? Can you generate 2-3 different counters off of your first action? And now what he seems to be implying is that those counters are there.
Yeah.
And he, Dejounte is a big piece of that because now Zion can set those screens.
Yes.
And then now he can make plays off the dribble or going downhill and all of that. So I guess when you hear Zion say, like, there weren't that many options, like I'm paraphrasing here. I got to pull up the quote because it's just fresh. I didn't write it down. I got to pull it up. I'm paraphrasing. We'll post it for sure. But when you hear Zion basically say, like, yeah, our offense didn't really have that many options last year. Like, what goes through your mind there?
Well, I mean, it was pretty evident how stagnant they would get on offense sometimes. The lack of movement, the lack of willingness at times for certain people taking open shots. And today, the one thing I will say, the offense kept flowing. There wasn't many times that the offense stagnated. And when it did come to a late shot clock, when we talk about Dejounte, I'm going to bring out something else that I saw today that I didn't see last year.
Tell me about it.
Oh, we can talk about it now? The guard pick and rolls. The guard pick and rolls with Dejounte and CJ, and they inverted it. They both did it, and it produced quality looks. I think CJ hit a 3 on one of his. And even when Hawk was in the action, they had a guard pick and roll, and they sprayed Hawk out. with a big man setting the back screen, and that opened up the offense even more. So when you hear about things not having any options, those differences in the offense this year are just far and away better than what we saw last year. And not that much elbow action. That's not any horn sets. Like, we didn't have that much of that either. So it looked much better and much more open than we saw last year.
So my two pieces of tempering the expectations there a bit. One, we touched on last podcast where they had all these things in the preseason last year. They had Borrego Ball. And then 7 games in, they were like,
Well,
I don't
okay.
know
Well,
about
I will
Borrego.
say this. They didn't look this spry last preseason. We were wondering what was going
They
on.
were lethargic.
They were like,
They were
oh
lethargic.
man, like the activity is just night and day from last preseason to today. Now, in December, we may have a completely different story, but the start of this, if this is the start of the season, they look like how they look around post play-in tournament, or not play-in tournament, Las Vegas tournament. That's how active they look now. That's 2 months ahead of schedule.
Yeah, look, they do. And part of that, as our good friend Christian Clark has said a couple of times, it's Zion starting the race at the starting line.
30 yards. He's not 30 yards behind as he
Right.
was
That
last year.
that's a big piece. So my other piece of tempering the expectations a little bit is 14 didn't play. Because I say that because last year I texted my friend of the show, Fletcher Mackel. I had
Mm-hmm.
texted him. I was like, they're around, like, it was early in the season. I was like, look, there's 14 guys playing one style of basketball, and there's one guy playing a completely different brand of basketball. Things are complicated when he's around. And I think that just ties into more of like, I really wish you would have played.
Yes,
Because
yes, yes.
even at the end of last season when he got benched, it was because that unit with Jose and Zion and Larry and Herb and
Trey,
I think
Trey was
Trey.
last. Trey was the last guy.
Trey. Uh the amount of processing speed on the floor between that five man grouping was off the charts. The ball was
No, it
popping.
was
It wouldn't
moving.
stick.
Yes, yes.
Players are moving. Ball was moving. All the above, right? 14 struggles to play in that environment, has struggled to play in that environment. And when he has played well in that environment, the offense looks incredible. Looks unstoppable.
Unbelievable,
So it's
unstoppable. Like
yeah.
they are a dynamic duo when it's played correctly.
Yeah, so I really hope in the preseason we get the opportunity to see that and to see the newfound rim and three efficiency
Yes,
god,
yes.
Brandon Ingram. It'd be really nice to see. But okay, let's move on. Let's talk about Dejounte for a second. It was his debut.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I think, an okay debut in the sense of raw production. He finished with 6 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds in one half of play. Um, that would be on pace for 12, 12, and 6, which is a very good night.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of talked about him being a low teen scorer or mid teen scorer, but stuff in the box
Box score,
score.
yes.
He was plus 10, and for a while he was leading the team in plus minus. You could just tell the offense flowed better when he was on the court. There was a couple CJ on ball reps that reminded me a lot of the last few years, where it was like dribble, dribble, dribble. Oh gosh, what's about to happen? Oh, thank you. He just made a three. He made a pull up three,
Yes,
right? It's
yes,
like
yes.
he had one. CJ had one. Dribble, 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 dribble. I'm gonna throw a grenade to Jose in the corner. Jose, you got 1.2 seconds left to take this three. Take this three, right? And obviously, when some of those bench units, those non-Zion units, did not do well. Not
but
today.
but what I will say is, once it was non-Zion, but with Dejounte when he came in the second quarter, you don't appreciate how great he is in ISO and how great his handle is and how he can separate without really exploding until you see it live. And when he just played at a pace that similar to Drew Holiday, and I'm gonna have a hot take with that, but he plays with a pace similar to Drew Holiday, where he knows exactly where he wants to go to get his shot when he's in the paint. He doesn't draw fouls, but he gets to the paint with a purpose, and he can rise up and hit that 12-foot, almost it's close to floater range, but he can hit that shot with ease, and it seems like no one's even around him. And you don't
Yeah.
appreciate that until you see him on court live.
Oh yeah. I mean, look, he was 2 for 9 from the field, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't
I
care
don't get the
about
process was great. I don't care about
the
the figures.
preseason.
Yes, the process was great.
How many years did Drew Holiday just not care about the preseason? Yeah, that one year where like Pat Beverly like stole him 7 times, turned him over
Yes.
like 7 times. It doesn't matter, right? He took 4 threes in one half of play. On pace for 8.
Yeah.
Love that. You didn't hit any of them. I don't
I
really
don't
care.
care.
They
I
were good
don't
threes.
care. Yes.
They were good threes, right? Um, I was completely satisfied with his play. He won his minutes. Expect him to be more efficient as more and more of the Pelicans cavalry gets back
And
healthy and
Jalen
is on the
Suggs is not
court.
going to be on every team because Jalen Suggs
No, I mean,
is
and
phenomenal.
also
That's another part of all this.
sure,
Yeah.
and also like he just strikes me as a guy that like when the lights are on,
Yes.
he cares.
Yes.
So I'm until he gives me a reason to worry, until it becomes a trend, I'm okay. I think
Yep.
his diet of shots was a little jumper heavy today. I think he had obviously he had 4 threes. Hold on, I'm pulling up a shot chart right now. Oh man, they don't have it available on NBA.com. But if I remember correctly, it was most like I think I'm not sure how often he got to the cup because I think he made a couple middies, he missed a couple middies, he had a floater, and so that is one area that I would like to see him improve on. But again, Jalen Suggs won't be on every team.
Yes. Yes. Like just that Orlando team is great defensively. Like y'all, I'm telling you, TV doesn't do it justice. They're great defensively, and for the offense to still flow well enough, especially when the starters were in the court, it really, I'm lost for words. I was impressed by the offense. To which we go to CJ in his play.
Let's talk about CJ.
Let's talk about CJ. The catch and shoot god, the pull up, step back god from 3 is back. Shouts out to Jory. You see, we're starting off positive. We're gonna ease up on your boy. We're not trying to. We come in peace. We love CJ, but and also defensively, he got so he rimmed the turn. CJ,
Got that block,
yes
and then he
sir.
got the 3 on the other end. It was on
Yes,
the same
yeah,
play.
same
Yeah.
possession. So yeah, let's talk about what did you see? What did you see from him that you liked?
I saw more of the goodness from last year where, okay, 6 of his 8 shots were 3.
Yes, yes.
He shot 50% from 3. Missed a couple of runners, whatever.
It is
He'll
process
hit
over
those.
results with this guy.
Yeah. Now, with Brandon healthy or available, CJ probably is tasked not to run the offense as much as he had some
Yes,
opportunities today.
yes.
That on ball stuff still didn't look
No,
fantastic. So again, pushing him off ball is going to be key. But hey, this is what they're going to. CJ is a pro. You're going to ask him to show up. He's going to take the shots that he takes, and he's going to shoot a high percentage from 3, and it's going to be awesome. He's not going to be an obstacle on the court. And again, I'm not blaming him for any decisions the coaches make
no.
on who plays when and how much they play. That is not CJ's
That's not.
first job description.
Those are for the guys in the polos and in upper management. That's what.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. Fine with CJ. Nothing crazy there. Same thing with Herb. Just Herb was being Herb.
Yes. That's again. That the end of half. That play he did the end of half where he reads it and then he falls, gets to the ground, first one on the floor, and gets a steal. Just and I want to talk about this from a team perspective because we know they're going to lose the rebounding, and they were a couple massive putbacks by Orlando. In the first half, they forced 12 turnovers from Orlando. Zion,
10 steals.
10
10
steals.
steals
You know
in one half.
they are. Well, we'll talk about Daniel after we finish this, but everyone just was so active defensively. They played with a purpose on that end of the court. Like I said, Zion got a steal, CJ got a block, Dejounte ran some passing lanes. Like everyone was just active on that end, and that's how they're gonna have. That's how they're gonna close the gap, the possession game gap, when it comes to the rebounds. If you get in transition, there's no way to stop this team unless DeJounte doesn't throw a lob. But other than that, this team is going to be hell on wheels in transition, and it starts with causing turnovers and getting extra possessions that way. Speaking of Daniel, what did you see from him?
Sorry, I thought I lost you there for a
Oh, there you
second,
go. I was just
but
saying,
we're
Daniel
back.
Tice. Daniel Tice. What did you see from him? The starting center.
Look, left me wanting for some rebounds, but just being opportunistic and available for offensive points. Look, he's not going to score double digits every single night that like he did tonight, but part of being out there is the opportunities you are going to get. You gotta capitalize on. And
Yep.
so being what was he 6 for 7 from the field? Yeah,
Yep.
that's 7 shots. He made 6 of them. Cool beans, man. Look,
But
they won the minutes while he was out there. He held his own in
yes.
anchoring that second group unit out of the halftime where the starters sat. He was the only starter available, and it was the young bucks basically.
Yes.
It was Jose, Hawkins, Javante Green, and JRE, I
Jerry,
believe.
yeah.
Oh no, Matt Ryan came out.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah.
It was Matt Ryan, not Dejounte. Yeah.
Hey man, the Matt Ryan, Jordan Hawkins minutes
Hey,
combined.
you want to talk
We're gonna.
about my man who he act like he can't go back to the G, dog. Let's go. Let's talk about the man of the hour.
Oh man, well let's do it. I don't think he hit a shot. Did he hit a shot?
Who Hawk?
Oh, you talking about Hawk?
Hawk.
Okay, I thought you talking about
No,
Matt
no,
Ryan.
no, 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 no. Hawk can't go back. No,
No,
Hawk can't go back.
Hawk is the man of the hour. He
He's the
led the
man of the
team in
hour.
scoring. He led the team in scoring. Yeah, let's talk about it. I have some interesting takes, but I want to hear yours first.
Hey, yesterday we said you gonna have the opportunity to show up with Trey being hurt and go full Dion Waiters. Let that thing fly and let that thing fly. He did. He was so confident coming off screens when he realized he has no on ball requirements, no on ball duties. He's free to shoot and be aggressive, and he held his own sometimes defensively. Even though Orlando attacked him, they put him and Messi in pick and roll time after time again when they shared the court. But when it was Daniel and that unit that started the second half, he feasted. He looked like a man that I want to play.
Yeah, look, I think the big thing is that again, that second group they were against the Magic starters, and the Magic just couldn't score. They just couldn't, and it was like I said, there was no standout defender in that grouping at
Nope.
all. The Pelicans were not big on the perimeter in any sense.
In fact, they were really small because Jose and Jordan Hawkins were just starting backcourt.
And Matt Ryan,
And Matt Ryan, they were small.
yeah, yeah, and so I don't know if that bodes well for the Magic. Obviously, it's early. I wouldn't overreact, but my God, you guys got to be able to run up the score against them dudes.
Hey, they can't score. As much as I love their defense, it is Paulo and Franz and hope they fall. It is that offense is not. Maybe that's why our defense look better than I imagined because that offense is really stagnant.
So, just circling back to Hawk, in the first half when the starters played, Hawk was fine. He was doing a scoring thing, but the Pels had lost those minutes by a big margin.
Yeah.
I think they were like -7, -8 or something. And at one point they were like -10, and I was like, "Oh no, here we go again."
Mm-hmm.
Even when Hawks having a decent game, they just can't seem to win those minutes.
Because he's
But
always in action defensively.
correct. However, he deserves a lot of grace. Obviously, one, the sample is just absurdly small. Preseason, whatever. It's not predictive. But the biggest thing is like you on the court with JRE, and there's no Zion, there's no Brandon, there's no Herb. Herb was out there. There's no Trey, and there's no CJ. Right, so that's like major fellas that are going to drive winning are not on the court. It was Dejounte and Herb, I think, were the two starters out there for most of the time. And then when Dejounte sat, I think there was a little bit of Jose and there was
Yeah.
maybe a little bit of CJ, whatever. But mainly, like, I don't know how much overlap there was with Z. And it's not exactly fair to kill him for that grouping losing minutes. I mean, I don't. The joke I made in the first half, I think JRE was doing his best Tony Snell impression. Just no sign of activity. Like there's no rebounds. There's no assists. It's just like what are you doing? Messi got out there in the first half, in the first few minutes, picked up a block, picked up a steal, picked
Yes,
up three
he
and a
was
half
active.
fouls.
Yeah.
The fouls are a sign of activity.
No,
Just
yeah,
go
yeah.
get
That's
going.
that's
Yeah.
literally what I have on here. Like I even made a joke about that's the fourth time being on the floor, but he's on the floor because he's in the middle of the action, trying to make an imprint on his team. He's raw. You gotta let him live, but he's making his presence felt one way or the other. In
We're
the
gonna have to set a counter and an over under on Messi hitting the floor
yes,
and Messi picking up
fouls.
fouls, and
Yes,
we gotta see what tops out at the end because it seemed like every other possession he was just on the ground, whether it was like him trying to block something and missing, or with him trying to dunk something and whatever it was.
but it starts with a try. He's trying to do something. He's trying to make winning plays. He's making himself active time and again on both ends of the court.
That first possession he had, welcome to the NBA, young
Yes,
fella.
yes.
Jonathan Isaac, the best defender in the NBA on a permanent basis, blocking your dunk, weak dunk attempt. Come on, man, you gotta go in there with force.
And DC did everything right leading up to the dunk, and Jonathan looked at him like, at least he
You
didn't
know
use
who I
it.
am?
He said you didn't use your left.
Yeah.
And yeah. Other than that, I was maybe I'm in a minority, but I was kind of impressed with the Rooks' play because again, the activity was something I wasn't expecting from a guy in his first game against a really
Yeah.
good team.
I would say behind Tice, he was the best big, right?
Yes, yes.
Better than Carlo, better than JRE. JRE had a little moment, in that second grouping, but like I don't know if that's going to be reliable.
Collectively, I would say he's the second best big today.
Yeah, I just look. I hope JRE. I wish him the best. I would love for him to be really good. I hope he's not one of those players that's going to be a Willie Green player. It's like he's just going to find his way in the rotation, and you're just like, man, look.
Again, Javante at the 4. I'd rather that.
Yeah. He was. Messi was solid. I think as far as other players go, there weren't many true standouts. I don't think it's really worthwhile to talk about like the
No,
garbage time.
no.
Most of the second half. However, I do want to throw some stats at you.
Go ahead.
This would be nothing if I didn't bring any stats. So, first of all, Pelicans out rebounded. On the defensive glass, the Magic had 38 defensive rebounds. The Pelicans had 30. What's your overall the Magic had 44 and the Pelicans had 40. So we kind of knew that, but the Pelicans did grab 10 offensive rebound. That's going to be something that we're going to be watching for. The Magic are a huge team.
Yes.
To be fair.
Yes.
So is there a level of concern on the Pelicans being out rebounded? Or is just like, this one's not that bad.
Not really, because we also have to factor in that the Magic are one of the better foul drawing teams, and they took 35 free throws. So when you have 9 more shots than the Magic do, and you factor in the free throws, and you factor in the turnovers, you're gonna lose the rebounding battle. But it's not so massive that it was noticeable to me because they still had a lot of possessions.
Yeah. So our friends over at pivotfade.com, shout out Pivot Fade. Those guys have excellent stats. They say the Pelicans actually, they had 95.2 true shooting attempts, and the Magic had 92.4.
There you go.
So basically, I like to round those down, basically. And so Pelicans netted out, including the free throws, basically 3 more looks, offensive possessions. So you won the possession battle.
There you go.
Which is awesome. Helped by the steals, of course, and the lack of turnovers. The Magic turned over 23 times, the Pelicans 18 times, but not much from the starting group.
Yeah.
Again, the starting group was
12
clean.
They did. Yep, 12 4 at half.
The one turnover at half was like Zion dribbling off his foot.
Yep, that was the first turnover for the Pelicans for the game, and at the end of the first quarter, 9 is a dead ball turnover. You have
Yeah.
to live with those.
Oh, absolutely. So interesting stuff there. Their offensive rating, for the game, the Pelicans 102.9, the Magic 100. So not an incredible offensive display
Do
from
you have
either
it? Do you have
team.
it? First half versus second half.
I do have it first half.
All
So
right.
on the first half, the Magic had an offensive rating of 105, which
Mm.
means the Pelicans defense rating
Defense
was
was
105, which is
105.
really, really, really
Yes.
good. And the Pelicans were also 105,
Again,
which makes sense. It was a tie ball game.
my one of my takeaways was, man, both these teams are great defensively. The activity for both teams just it pops. I'm not. I was at the game, but you can just see it. Like they are very trained, very well trained defensively.
So let's looking at 5-man groups. I love super small sample sizes. They're my favorite. Uh, the Pelicans starters played 10 minutes and 15 seconds. They were a +8 in those. That's a raw +8. Their net rating was +31.4.
Trade
Which
Bi
is
for a bunch
awesome.
of picks. We have the starting lineup taken. We already have it. It's here.
It wasn't a crazy offensive starting lineup, 108.7, but the defense was 77.3.
Again, what I heard was record-breaking defense is following after Willie Green's heart. We getting in transition. We might as well just start with that's the starting point. Sorry, Jory. We're right. CJ, he must start. We need to get off of him and just Bi for picks. Trey's gonna go on the second unit, 6 man of the year. Boom.
The Magic starting group for the game had an offensive rating of 75.
Ew.
That includes the
They
possessions
say,
they played against
Jordan
that second half.
Hawkins. Jordan Hawkins, defensive stopper.
Well, that Jordan Hawkins, Matt Ryan group, that they had a defensive rating of 41 or 45. Sorry, 45.5. Isn't that stupid?
That's insane.
That's stupid. The Magic should be embarrassed, man. They should be embarrassed.
A
Can't score against
45,
those
a
guys.
45 defensive rating. I don't even know you can get
My
that low.
God. Yeah.
You're
But
right.
like
You know
on
what?
it.
Hold on 1 second. Derek K. Cunningham defenders. Y'all are right. Paulo cannot lead an offense. If that's what we're going with. I'm wrong. You guys are right.
Good God. Good God.
Oh
All
man.
right. So ironically, the Zion lineups didn't score too well. They had an offensive rating of 95.6, but the defensive rating of 84.1. He had the third best net rating amongst the starters. Dejounte led them with a holy cow. The offense when Dejounte was on the court, 121.1.
We
There we
have our
go.
point guard. We have our point guard of the now.
There's the offense.
There's the offense. Dejounte Murray minutes are the offense. He gets it.
Yeah, and the defense was elite too. It was under 100. So yeah, plus 23 net rating. Incredible stuff there.
Griff won the
Um,
trade. I'm calling it right now. He won the trade.
he
Atlanta
won
Hawks
the trade.
fans are wrong. He can play defense.
Yeah. So look, very very fun with small sample sizes. I'm excited to spend the season digging into more of this stuff. Is there a number that you're particularly interested for me to dig up? Obviously, if I can do it quickly, I will. I don't really care. We can have these things prepped
Like
for.
I say, this is more process over results.
Yeah.
For the preseason, and for the majority of it, I like what I saw after game one.
Yeah, no, for sure. Oh, here we go. The Pelicans. I have some interesting stuff that I'm trying to pull up here. Uh, okay. No, I don't really care about the individual shooting. The Pelicans. So they, of course, they got up 43s, which
Yes, I
was
saw that.
their stated goal.
Yep.
Which is awesome. They only shot. How many mid ranges did they shoot? They shot 6. No, They should have shot more than that.
I think just
No, 9. They
Okay.
shot 6 for 9. They shot 6 for 9 in the mid-range area outside of the paint. So 9 for the game, not bad at all. Not bad at all. Corner threes, they shot 8 of them. I would like to see that go up.
Yes.
Be more. They only shot 1 for 8, which is against small sample variance. I think they will shoot better. And rim and paint attempts, they shot a total of. How many did y'all shoot? I don't care about the specific shot types. All right, you know what? This is coming too much work for me.
Yes,
and,
yes. This is fun
I
time,
will-
not work time.
Oh, here we go. 21 of 35 in the rim and paint, which is very, very good. 35 shots there. So solid, I would say. I would say that this has been a success for the Pelicans. They got the monkey off the back by winning their first preseason game. Now they could lose every single one.
Yes,
and we don't
we don't care. You just have
We
to
don't
win one.
care.
You just got to win one to prove that the statistic lives on.
And the biggest takeaway that I could leave y'all with is Zion. Zion's here, man.
Hey, shouts out to Brent Usher on Twitter. He said it best. 65 games looking like this. He's going to make an All-NBA team. He's one of the top 10, 12 players on the planet Earth if he looks like this.
I hope so. All right. Well, Jeremy, it's a pleasure. Hope to do many more of these after wins.
Yes, we got to talk about the Pelicans after a game, after an actual
We made it.
basketball game. We've made it. Basketball is here. Basketball is here.
Congratulations to all of us for making it through the offseason.
Yes. Content creators, we did it.
Thanks for listening.